Hi, it's Clyde again with FT3D, and today I'm going to get Jenny going. We just put the wood filament into the Jenny. I'm not sure how well she's going to print with it just yet, but we're going to give it a shot. So we're going to do that. And as promised, we are also going to be relocating the FT5 to here. This is kind of the project of the week that I'm going on here. These are some little trophies that I have designed for my local YMCA to kind of help them with some events and stuff for the kids. They like to do archery and BB guns and stuff like that. So these are going to be trophy prizes. Nothing huge. I try to work very closely with them to try and keep cost to a minimum. And it works out really well. So yes, over to Jenny we go, and I will move the camera over. So give me a second while I reorient. All right. And let's see how we look. Yes, you can see it. All right, so I've got to grab the glue. This is a fairly large print. I want to make sure that I have good adhesion. So I'm going to just kind of apply the glue, and we'll hopefully have some good adhesion. The reason I only do a quick pass with the glue is because this has got glue on it. I don't want to like really overdo it. So this is the wood filament that I have. I'm having a moment as to what the brand is, but I can tell you, this is the, I have no idea. Shame on them. I can look it up at some point, so if anybody really is interested, I can look it up and tell you. But right now, I gotta get my memory cards out. And I'm going to relocate my computer because it is now able to be moved. And I'm going to put my card in correctly. All right, so let's move things out of the way. Let's power this on. This filament does print at about 200 to 220 is what it's rated at. The Olsen block on this either runs hot or it runs cold. It seems to be dependent on the filament itself. So we're going to find our job right there. And we are going to get this started. In just a moment, I can show you the, I'll give you a close-up of Sharon going. Let's see if we can't tune this just a little bit. The only downside to this is that I have to wait till the bed actually heats up before I can make my adjustments to the tune. For whatever reason, with this profile in Cura, I have not been able to find the temperature settings for this machine. They are available on other machines that I have. For some reason, that information just does not want to appear in Cura for me. So if anybody has a trick on that, let me know. I'd be happy to hear it. I haven't really actively searched for an answer to that, but it is definitely something in the back of my head. So I'm going to run this almost at the maximum operating temperature. I'm going to run this at about 213 degrees. I'm hoping, since when I put the filament in, it felt pretty nice, meaning that there wasn't a large amount of resistance when I was pushing it through the extruder, but it wasn't hesitant. So I don't really know how to explain that. It's just that, you know, when it's cooler, it has a harder time coming out the nozzle, even though it's still pliable. And then the hotter you get, the more liquid it becomes. So it's finding that, what I call it, kind of like the somewhat melted butter zone to make this work. It looks like we are at a sufficient temperature because gravity is bringing down the filament for me. Typically, when I run jobs on this printer, I like to peel off the excess filament. So, the only downside to this print job is I am not 100% certain if I got the bed lined up yet. But I'm going to find out in a minute. Ooh, that is close. Close for me. That is looking pretty darn snazzy. I think as long as we have good adhesion, this should go pretty well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you I'll try to give you a close-up here. See if we can get you up in there. I apologize for the quality. Hello, FT3D. How are you today? Well, the FT5 is kind of a sore spot for me, but if you want a large format printer in the $500 range, what do you recommend? I was looking at the FT5, Alpha YQ10, or CR10S. What are your thoughts? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, as much as I love John and the folks at Folder Tech, all right, well, let me put this down. Oh, first off, here's Sharon. Sharon's going to town down there doing her thing. So we got the nozzle situation corrected. All right, let me set you back up here. We look good there? We look good there. All right, to answer your question, I am not an expert by any means, stretch of the imagination or otherwise. I am a hobbyist. But I will tell you, I own the FT5, and Matt has a very good point. It depends on whether or not you just want to print or you like to tinker. So if you want to print, yeah, the CR10, from what I understand, the CR10S actually, if you're going for volume, I believe the CR10S has a very, very comparable build volume to the, actually I think it's a bigger build volume than the FT5. But it's like a 3-piece machine from what I understand, and I guess it requires very little in the way of tuning if you get the right one. I've heard mixed reviews on the CR10S itself, and most of the comments I see lead me to believe that it's 98% certain that you're going to get a quality printer out of it. And from what I understand, it prints much, much better out of the box. The FT5 R1, I think it's the R1, is the version I have, which I will grab. Let me move my trophies out of the way here. Yeah, I've been looking at the 10S myself, but it really depends on whether or not I get the Raise 3D Pro, the extended one, because if I get that, I would much rather have that. I think that I really like the idea of the CR10S, and that is the printer I'm going to get next if I don't get the Raise. So there's, that's something to consider. So why? Okay, let me explain what Matt is saying, and I'm going to show you real quick what we're talking about. Oh my God. is the FT5 in all of its glory and splendor. Just a real quick recap of what's going on with the FT5 in my build. Okay, I am a hobbyist. I'm not an expert. Okay, so never think that. I do my videos because I make a lot of mistakes, and it's humorous because somebody else in my shoes would probably, you know, people judgy, but I mean, I make mistakes, and I like that. Yeah, so FP3D, this is the R1, not the R2. This is kind of a hybrid model because this is where I got a model where they started changing over stuff, like these the cable covers. These actually have caps on top of them that open to allow you to place the cable in and service the cable. Unfortunately, if you're using the braided cable cover, which I did, I ended up with a wire that broke when I first powered this up, so my tension was probably too high. And I ended up having to run some wire to get to where I needed to go. And I think this wire powers the thermistor. So the thermistor wire had actually broken at some point. So I had to disconnect it and move it to here. There's a lot of, I mean, I have printed on this, but I don't think I have, no, I don't. I don't have any of the prints from it right now. I've done the batarang because it was real thin layers, and I tried doing the parts that I needed to upgrade this, and I kept getting a layer shift right after the supports for the carriage assembly on this. So there's that. The nice thing is that the build plate on this, you can do one of two things. Is I actually got the sticky covers that they provided. I don't know if they're PEI sheets, but it's like a build tack surface that John and them included along with the candy and a T-shirt. And I went to Home Depot and picked up some of these mirror plates. And the mirror plates are actually really good quality, so I haven't had any layer problems. Where my problems have been are alignment issues, okay? Most of the issues you're gonna have with the FT5 is alignment issues. That's assembly. It's making sure everything is exactly the way it needs to be. Because if stuff is not exactly the way it needs to be, this stuff here is very sensitive. Okay, they've got a dual lead screw system on these, and what most people have problems with is the guides. So these guides, they're supposed to be kind of the rigid, yeah, they're supposed to be sort of the rigid factor on most printers, but on these are your slack values. So when the build plate goes up and it goes down, these guides have a tendency of moving around a little bit, and you might have a narrower gap between the top than you do at the bottom, or vice versa, which causes a pinch point, and then the build plate, because it's so big, tries to kind of shift and do weird things. Most people, that's where they have their issues, from what I understand. The extruder assembly is a fairly stock assembly, and honestly, I don't know that there's really a whole lot of things you could have a problem with on it. It's very similar to the stock A8 extruder assembly. I mean, again, it's not bad. I mean, I've had some issues with tolerances and getting things tightened up because I have a little bit of slop in there, if you can't tell from there. The carriage, I mean, again, has a little bit of wiggle. So this thing vibrates like crazy. So, I mean, I have the feet, as I mentioned in the other video right here. The wiring was, well, my wiring looks like a mess because I should care more, but I really don't. I wanted to get this running so I could use it because I've been wanting to do the R2D build for a while. Every time I get it running, I pretty much have to fix something or adjust something. So like Matt was saying, this is kind of a tinker platform for a DIY. If you're just getting into 3D printing, the CR10, the CR10S are going to be a much better choice because This thing literally comes in pieces. The largest piece you're going to find assembled is this 2020 extruded aluminum, and I mean, it's not assembled. Everything has to be screwed in place, and supposedly, from what I heard, the newer, sorry, my printer is really loud today. The newer model, while the frame is similar, they've made some drastic improvements on the R2. But again, I would expect to be tinkering and adjusting and tweaking. A lot of people have done modifications. There's a big hoopla about whether or not the alterations are necessary or modifications, upgrades. My advice on this particular style printer is to build it stock first. Talk to the people at Folgertech if you have issues, if you go this route, and make sure that any issues you have, you talk to them and directly, work through. There's a really good group, the Folgertech forum on Facebook, where a lot of people that own these will tell you, do an upgrade, do an upgrade. Again, I'm going to be the negative Nilly. I always recommend build it the way they tell you to first. They'll honor the warranty. If anything breaks, they'll send you the replacement parts without asking questions, but keep it stock. Once you get the machine running and you feel comfortable with your ability to make modifications, that's a completely different story. But I know it's probably not popular to say, but I think most of the issues that people have on these is they rush to get it done because it is a daunting build. It's a very big build. Yes, as Matt said, any printer you get, build it stock first. Now, with a caveat to that, this is the first FT5 I've owned. I still love this printer, okay? It's just that I accept that it's a work in progress all the time until I get it right. But this is one of those things where it's going to just one day, it's going to do exactly what I want it to do. So FP3D, I would have thought that as a Core XY, it would have been more stable. Well, FP3D, this is not a Core XY machine, just so you know. This one has dual stepper motors on either side of the build plate that turn ideally at the same time, but this is it's not a Core XY. It's the same as the Jenny printer I have running over there. It's the same as the ANET AA, and it's the same as Sharon over there. That's the way the movements work, the mechanicals. It still moves forward and backwards. A Core XY has a synchronized action system, I don't know if I'm using the words right, where it's running like the dual belts, so the two is acting as one. So if that makes any sense. Yeah, the linear rails are a nice feature, though. That does add a lot of rigidity. Unfortunately, with these linear rails, okay, you got to remember, okay, quality. For $500 to buy this printer, these linear rails are going to reflect that price, okay? In order to keep this an affordable model, they have to use certain grade parts. So if you'll probably see surface rust on these over time, stuff like that. Then I should have brought some water. So what else? These bearings, you've got to be very careful when you're installing, because if you pop them off the rails, you got bearings shooting everywhere. So that's another thing to remember. You got to be careful with these. What else? Which I was lucky, by the way. I never had my my bearing blocks, little blocks, whatever. I've never had them actually fall off the rail. So, but I'm sure it can happen. I've heard of it happening, and I've seen videos of it happening. The first and only real upgrade I have done on this machine, okay, just to make it very clear, I am not comfortable with having power from my power supply here going into the board and then coming from the board to my needed build plate because of the demand placed on the board. So the only modification I have made really so far, other than the fan you see, is putting in this MOSFET to make sure that the power is regulated more evenly and it's able to do what it's supposed to do without the risk of melting something, because there may be a small blemish in the solder, there may be a weak link somewhere. And that was important to me because, I mean, I have children, so I, just like Matt, and I wanted to make sure it was safe. The other modification I made isn't really a modification at all, but I moved this. This is the ZAxis, and what I did is I printed these slide-on adjusters that made for because the original Z was sitting on here and it was clipped in place. The only thing I did is I took this and made this 3D printed Z end stop, so I can adjust the screw to get the layer exactly where I want it, just like that. So that's the big stuff. I have replaced a couple of the driver motors in this already, because the driver motors, I don't know what happened. They failed. I put 2 new ones in and it actually does work. I haven't powered this thing up and run it in quite some time. I'd have to look at the power supply to actually do that. That is coming up. I will do that again soon. Right now, I have, I can't see it on that camera, but I have to actually go through and remove some of these covers. I got to pull some of these supports off. I got to drop some of the nuts that have fallen in here because they rattled loose, and put some new bolts in, and that kind of stuff. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt, but this is definitely a non-stop tinker toy. Worthwhile for me, but if it was everything I wanted and more, I wouldn't be entertaining the CR10S. I could get the R2 version of this, but I'm not ready to undertake another DIY project like this for a while. I've gotten that out of my system because I've got the ANET A8 that I still have to put back together with the aluminum frame and make it the AM8. I put the Jenny together that's running there. That's the Ultimaker clone. The Ren Delta that I have over there, that one I put together. So, and the FT5, this one I put together. All of these I have put on YouTube, so you can certainly watch the procedure. If you're really interested in what I went through with the FT5, watch my FT5 build vlog or videos, because it'll give you an idea kind of what I went through. Remember, I get in a hurry, so I tend to like jump and I miss things and I don't do stuff. There is a lot of good support for the FT5. There's a lot of good support for the CR10s. I know that there's becoming more and more support for the CR10S. So that's wiggly. Oh, what else? Pay attention if you do get an FT5 to the way you wire your power supply. Make sure you get good heat on that and solder it. I recommend shrink tube, slide it down over the pin. It never hurts to be over prepared. Always use protection. What else? There is a lot of things that I think I would do differently, if in hindsight, in terms of putting this together. But that is a video for another day. I'm trying to keep this to 30 minutes today. So if you got questions, now's the time to ask them. I got to check this printer real quick. Yeah, I can get over here through my wires. Oh my, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. OMG. I'm so proud of Jenny right now. I can't even tell you how proud I am. And if you think I'm weird because I name my printers, I'm sorry. All right, so yeah, I need another project like a hole in the head. I will get the CR10S and make my A8 into a Core XY later on. You could do that. I mean, I've seen people do that, like the hypercubes and stuff like that. I think if you're gonna in my opinion, if you're gonna upgrade your A8 though, I would probably just do the AM8 build first. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I'm not telling you to do that, but that's what I'm gonna do. So once I get all the parts for that, you can watch me do it. I think there's some AM8 build vlogs on the internet now. Is that? I have to walk around this way so I get a better view. If you want to see the layers on the Jenny, I can show you real quick. Oh my God, that is wonderful. I can't tell you how awesome this is. Okay, so this is PLA, all right? It's not really an exotic filament. I mean, it's a wood filament, but rest right there. And those are beautiful layers. And again, this is on a DIY printer, so I mean, isn't that just banging? I love that. But as you guys know, I've spent the last 2 days trying to get these printers working again. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. Are we talking about the white printer, FT3D? If you're talking about the white printer, the one I just showed you, that is Jenny. That's a Z360 Ultimaker clone. Let me move the camera closer so you can hear me better. Or we'll just go like this. Let's see. I can't see the screen when I do this, though, just so you know. All right, so this is the Jenny. It's a Z360. I purchased this on AliExpress a number of years, well, not a number of years ago, but over a year ago. And like I said, it's what I would, it's built on kind of the Ultimaker chassis, like the original Ultimaker kind of had a similar sort of thing. I guess you could call the this sort of like this is kind of a Core XY machine actually, because the way the movements work, you turn one belt this way, one belt goes this way. So I said kind of a Core X machine or XY machine. It's not actually a Core XY machine. But it sort of resembles one. It's still the same kind of action as the rest of the printers. So sorry, I'm not trying to confuse you. Oh my God, I cannot believe how nice that is. My customer is going to be so happy. I mean, like ridiculously happy about this. It is wunderbar. I gotta stop looking at this. All right, so let me see. I gotta check the screen here. Okay, so yes, I have some other videos on this one as well on my channel. The Jenny 3 is what this one is called. I bought it on AliExpress. It was $1,100 at the time. It is a DIY build kit. It's a it's got the what is it, like an aluminum or like a tin covering, metal covering over the front and back panel of this, and I think this is the same material that's used on the FT5. I believe it's either that or it's a an acrylic. I don't actually know. I think it's acrylic. Feels like acrylic or something to that effect. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but it's definitely laminated. Like I said, it was $1,100 when I bought it. Shipped on the slow boat, and I do have a build series on it. looks nice, but it has weird issues. So it's another one of those printers where you want to make sure that you follow the directions explicitly, which I cannot find because there was somebody else that's a subscriber to the channel that was asking for those directions, and I honestly have no idea where they are. I cannot remember. I tend to forget things when I don't have them in my face after a while. Uh-oh, I'm going over. Yeah, right? Except I'm not getting the N2. I'm hoping to get the Pro Plus. So, I mean, I guess you could call it an N2, but it's a bit more advanced than the stock N2. And again, that's only if I can get it. I mean, I would like to. But you know what they say about life? There are no guarantees. And yes, like I said, FT3D, that is a kit. It did take quite a bit of time, but like I said, I do have a build series on that one as well. Yeah, the Pro Plus is $59.99. Unless I can convince them to give me a discount because I'm going to do a build series with it. The N2, though, N2 Plus is definitely cheaper, but it doesn't have all the really cool upgrades. I mean, they've upgraded the, let's see, the board for the processing. They've upgraded the way they handle the drivers. It's got a HEPA filter. Well, you're welcome, FP3D. And like I said, always research. Never take my word for anything. I give you my honest opinion. I did. But, I mean, make sure that you always do your research first. You got to find the one that's right for you. I mean, out of all the printers I have right now, you're going to laugh, but I still love my ANET A8 the most. Hands down. Love that printer. I call her she. Her name's Tessa. And it has always performed so beautifully under the worst possible conditions, namely me. And no matter what I broke on it or what I threw at it, I was always able to fix it. And that printer paid for itself in jobs that I got from people within the first 2 months I owned it. So that was including filament and some upgrades and the actual purchase price and all that. My ANET A8 was paid off in less than 2 months. These printers so far, the Sharon, or my InStone printer, I should say, that was a fully assembled. It's a kind of a throwaway, like a Lexmark printer, like I said before. I bought that at the same price point as this one, pre-assembled, because I wanted a pre-assembled printer. I didn't want all the hassle with it. And it's been a pretty stable machine, and at this point, it is pretty much paid for itself at this point. Jenny is probably about 30% of the way paid for. I mean, just the work that I did with my ANET A8 is paid for like a portion of Jenny as it is, but I don't work it that way. I usually do paid jobs. This printer, not even close. Nope, this printer doesn't have a dime on it. I'm actually in debt on this one, so which kind of stinks, but I am so worried that filament's going to break. That's the downside with when you have filament that has like additives in it, like wood. They're much more likely to suck in moisture. So that filament right now is extremely brittle. But because it's got a Bowden tube or a guide tube going into the hot end, because that's got an Olsen lock on it, it actually seems to be doing pretty good. So anyway, you guys got anything else before I log out of here? I just wanted to do a kind of a quick live stream since I'm here. I kind of like doing this. At least today was more interesting than yesterday with housekeeping. You got to hear a little bit about the Jenny, and you got to hear a little bit about the Insto, not as much as usual. You got a little bit on the FT5 and what I'm going to be doing with that. If you guys want, I'll do a live stream tomorrow. I may start working on this tomorrow. It'll probably be boring because, I mean, honestly, how fun is it to watch somebody take a machine apart? Although it is me, so I'll probably break something because that's what I do. Absolutely, FP3D, and thank you for being on. I really do appreciate it. Same with you, Matt. As always, I love having you on. I'm trying to think. Yeah, but just like I said, make sure you check out some of my earlier videos. I mean, feel free to fast forward through them. I mean, it's not a big deal. You know, I don't do the best content in the world, but it's genuine and it's me. And one of these days, I'll start pre-recording and editing again. But right now I don't have a computer that's really working properly for that, so I'm kind of limited to doing live streams right now. I guess the bonus to that is I get to do more live streams more often, or to the detriment of others. But so yeah, I mean, again, like I said, you can find my information in my description. Thank you, Fernando. I will try to remember that. I'm horrible with names, but I will try to remember that. I'm trying to link your name to the name, Fernando. Okay, I'll try. Now, do you have a channel too, or do you just use that name? Yeah, I got you now. Okay, that makes complete sense. I'm not going to say that on the stream. If people want to know that, they can look at the chat history. Yeah, that is the other downside, is that my chat doesn't show up in the video anymore. Unless I'm doing it from my phone. Apparently it does. But my phone apparently doesn't like doing that video style. So it's a pleasure to meet you, though, Fernando. And thanks for being here the last couple days. Well, when I was younger, my name was very long. I had a hyphenated name. So I can relate. Now it's just Clyde. So I mean, that's pretty easy. You can also follow me on Twitter too, by the way, if you want. It's CB Ford76. Clyde Ford. I'm not telling you what my middle name is. Let that be a future game. Oh, hey Matt and Fernando. Before I go, did you guys want to see the R2D Dome so far? I don't know if I've showed it on video or not yet. I don't think I've officially shown it on video, but I can show it to you real quick. Wow, latency's low today. Keep in mind, I have not done any real post-processing or cleanup on this yet. Not a whole lot, anyway. But this is the start of R2D2's Dome. I'll try to hold it in the frame there. Believe me, it does not look this nice in person. Okay, this actually, it's just, you're seeing the white, or the light is washing it out a lot. So this is many pieces. I believe it is 6 pieces. 7 pieces, sorry. And all of these pieces have been printed so far on Jenny. Jenny was printing these pieces up until, oh God, today actually. So, yeah, this is going to be a fully 3D printed R2D2, by the way. So that's my goal. This is Michael Bedelli's fine work. These are the next part of the dome. So those actually go kind of on here, and then it's got another ring above that, and then it just kind of keeps going up and keeps getting glued. So that's what the pieces look like. So yeah, so what I love about being in this place too, because there's everybody that I work with here, or that I share space with, are all equally excited about stuff like this. So that's what makes it fun for me. So, but yeah, I give a lot of credit to Michael Badelli for doing this stuff, and he does it, and he gives it out for free, and he gives a lot of really great advice on products that he does, you know, that he customizes. Yeah, I can't wait to have it done. It is going to be on display here once I'm done. I did ask the people here what they would prefer, the Iron Man costume on display or R2D2. They said R2D2 unanimously. So I may do Iron Man and have him on display in here. I'm not sure yet. That's going to be a really, 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 really long build. That'll be much into the future because the R2D2 is going to take a lot of time. My son also wants me to do Wally. No, I haven't made it yet. I have the I have all the files for it. I just have to do all the work. So that's that would be about probably a year's worth of printing on one machine. Well, I would never say old, but they are fans of the franchise, with the exception of the current Han Solo movie, which I don't know anything about. So, but other Disney movies. If you haven't watched Black Panther, I do recommend that. But yes, Iron Man costume will be coming up. I did do the helmet at one point. I did it as a draft print just to see kind of how complicated it would be. I believe that was the Mark IV helmet. I think it's Mark IV. It was the one of the original helmets. I think it was like the second or third suit. So I don't know, somewhere in that. Well, that's what I want the CR10S for. The 10S, I believe Michael Badelli did a full dome print. I don't know if he scaled it or not. I didn't ask him, but he did the entire R2D2 dome in one print on the CR10S. So if that gives you an idea how big the build volume is on that. Again, I don't know if he scaled that or not, because I think that's the look. Hold on. Matt, you're going to have to do some homework for me. I don't know what the size of the build plate is on the... Oh, I don't have a tape measure. Okay, hold on. You know what? I can do this. Okay, so this is 2 feet. So this is shy of that. So this is... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. So 1.5 feet, I guess. That's about 18 inches, I think, across here. I don't know for sure. I really want a tape measure. I'm going to find it. Hold on. I bet you I have a tape measure. Because we need to know. Because you guys are keeping me on here. I need to look. Ah! I do have a tape measure. All right, I can't see you guys talking, so I apologize for that. So if you go roughly center, oh, I was right, 18 inches. So your printer would have to be able to encompass that 18 inches, which means, well, you know what that means. But I just made a mess. Just made a mess, and I just cleaned in here. Ah. All right. All right, so what's the build volume on the CR10S? Oh yeah, Uncle Jesse is awesome on YouTube. He does some really funny stuff too. Yeah, he does. What's the, okay, I'm gonna have to look. I need to know what the build volume on the CR10S is. Let's see. CR10S. 300 by 300 by 400. 300 being 12 inches, I believe. Yep, that's right about 12 inches. So I'm guessing Michael Badelli did a scaled version of the R2D2's dome, because there's no way you could fit an 18-inch dome on a 12-inch build plate. So it looks like it's comparable to the FT5, the CR10S, I think, if that's correct. Let me see. No, wait a minute, that's not the CR10S. Hold on. Oh, I was mistaken. Hold on a minute. Let me go back and fix that. 3D printers and supplies. 3D printers. CR10. I'm on GearBest, but I guess I could go to Reality's website as well. So we're going to do that. I don't know why I'm brain farting on the build size. I know the build size is bigger on the CR10S. Reality.us. Oh, 500? Oh, that changes things a lot. That would do it. That would absolutely do it. You could do a one-piece dome. Holy monkeys. For $600, I think, right? I think that's the right price. Oh, really? All right, hold on a minute. Now you're making me wonder again. Reality3D.Canada. I'm sorry, just .China. What is the... All right, so there's the CR10S5, which is 500 by 500 by 500. And there's no price because they're not a reseller, they're the actual manufacturer. There's the CR10S4, which does, I'm guessing 400 by 400 by 400? I don't know, it doesn't actually say. Huh. So there you have that. All right, hold on. I'm guessing the number signifies extended. Okay, so the CR10S is 334. The CR10S5, and that one's at 450. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I wasn't doubting you, Matt. Just so you know. But yeah, GearBest has it at $997.78, so about $1,000. But what is the 400? That's 15 inches. I don't know. It's 15.7, so it's 15 1/4 inches. So if the dome itself is actually less than 18 inches, then you could do the entire thing. Wow, that is huge. That is massive. That's like the what's that big 3D printer? I can't think. It's the one that Joel Telling has. The 3D printing nerd. He had that Gigundo printer. I think he still has it, as a matter of fact. So yeah, for $1,000, you two can own a big bleeping printer, bigger than this. That's huge. It's like 1.5 times the width on this. So that would be like out to here, print-wise. Oh yeah, the G-Max. Yeah, thank you. Well, there's like 2 different versions, I think, isn't there? 2 or 3? I'm not looking any more stuff up. I'm babysitting my 3D printers and talking to you guys. Oh my God, that is jamming. I have to take a picture of this real quick, so please forgive. It's, you know, while I'm doing live stream, it's always a good time to do video. All right, I just wanted to give you an update. There is your print job, and it is looking really snazzy. Hope you enjoy. Here we go. That's how we do it. I like to keep my customers updated regularly. They appreciate that. I'm not familiar with the Zone Star, I don't think. There's so many printers out there now that I don't even know them all. Not that that's saying a lot, because I'm not really all that experienced with most things. I will look it up, though. Just after I send this to my customer. He's been asking me all day for an update on this, just so you know, so I wasn't trying to be rude. Zone Star. Let me take a look here. Zone Star 3D printer. Get my archaic. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. So it's like basically kind of like a. It's another like Prusa style, like ANET style. With the really sloppy front ends. Oh my God, I hate that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's like my Tessa, you know, my ANET A8. It actually looks like they used injection molded stuff instead of, well, wait a minute. No, maybe not. I was going to say they used, I can't tell. Are those, is that X carriage done with 3D printed, or my monitor's horrible? Or are they injection molded? I love how they always show these really awesome like multicolor prints and stuff on these things. Yeah. Well, the look up the AM8. Actually, I can show you the picture of it. This, if you can see it, that's the AM8 style for the printer. So that's actually the stuff I'm going to be purchasing here shortly. So hopefully you can see that, because I couldn't read it. It's always harder to put things away than it is to take them out. But it's always good to have it to put things back where you found them. Oh, hey, return. Let's see what he said. He says, That's all I got. It was an emoji. They'll probably message me back with something else. But all right, so I looks like Prusa Haribo. Prusa Haribo. I think my only oh, you're talking about the AMA. Yes, actually, that is a very apt comparison. Only difference is I think mine's gonna have a whole. Oh, those are all 3D printed parts too. There is a time where 3D printed parts are just overkill. So just make sure you know the difference. Sometimes it's actually just better, more efficient, and cheaper, and less hassle to just buy things. Just for the record, as I've discovered over time, not everything has to be 3D printed. Some things are better left not 3D printed. Although if you haven't tried it yet, I do recommend 3D printing stuff and then trying to make molds out of them. That is actually a lot of fun. So if you haven't done it yet, you should try it. It's a lot of fun. I did a coin, or like a metal that you could put on a string. I 3D printed it. Came out nicer than the mold did, but that's because I'm inexperienced with mold making, and well, I made rookie mistakes. Oh, excuse me. I think on that note, well, we got 3 minutes now until we hit an hour, so we may as well do the hour. I gotta get up early. I got work tomorrow. But you know, that's the price of a hobby, right? You know, I suppose when I was talking to you guys, I could have probably been working on this thing. I need to get a new smart controller for my display on this because I mashed the button. It still works, but I rammed it into something when I was moving it around when I was putting it together. So it was unfortunate. I wonder what this thing will do if I plug it in, though. Nah, I gotta work on it first. I don't want to plug it in. But I will say that this MOSFET works absolutely perfect. These wires do not get near as hot as they did beforehand. Oh, on this? Oh, no, I'm not giving up on this. Are you kidding me? No, I fully intend to get this working. It's just, it's not, it's my pet project now at this point. The one that I would like to get going, well, I'm not going to move this again right now, is my Ren Delta. That's I got to find somebody that is fluent in Deltanese so they can help me get the stuff, the Marlin set up properly and all that. I have forgotten much more than I learned with the Ren when I built it. I did try to do the blue smoke test on it. So again, that's another one of my videos you can take a look at. But anyway, we are pretty much at the hour, so I am going to get off here now. So I thank you, Fernando, and I thank you, Matt, for hanging out with me tonight, and anybody else that finds the time to watch this video and listen to me prattle. So until next time, probably tomorrow, have a great night. You guys too.
keep innovating and keep creating awesome stuff. And you know, like I said, I say it in all sincerity. Make sure that you send me suggestions or ideas, things that I can do, things you want to see maybe. So until then, I'll catch you guys later.